Becoming Slav, Becoming Croat. Identity Transformations in Post-Roman and Early Medieval Dalmatia by Daniel Gino. After recent disappointments with the work of Antonio Alvarez Pedrosa and Enrique Santos Marinas, I decided to return to Brill's catalog, hoping to find higher quality work. Thankfully, Brill did not disappoint. Becoming Slav, Becoming Croat is a fascinating book. At its core, it is a sociological inquiry, but not one based on the usual interviews, questionnaires, or statistics. Instead, it draws on medieval chronicles, archaeological evidence, and other historical sources. It is also a surprisingly good read, for an academic publication, obviously with a smoothly flowing narrative, a minimal amount of difficult vocabulary. I only had to look up literal, which left me wondering why on earth anyone would need to create such a word, and scholarly deep dives, such as discussions of the types of swords or other grave goods, woven into the text in a way that never puts the reader to sleep. Daniel Gino begins by presenting the main trends in Croatian historiography, showing how historical and political contexts shaped these interpretations and ultimately influenced the development of the current mainstream narrative of the Croats' arrival on the coast of Illyricum. This section is something of an eye-opener. Although I already knew that pre-modern historians, such as the Polish chronicler Jan Długosz, wrote their works under the instructions of their patrons, and that Soviet historians were heavily influenced by the directives of the Politburo, I was naive enough to assume that post-Soviet scholars would be less susceptible to non-scholarly influences. Well, now I know better. In the rest of the book, while critically analyzing the historical sources and drawing on sociological theories, such as Berdia's concept of habitus, Gino effortlessly, almost in passing, dismantles the traditional narratives of a massive ethnic replacement or flood of Slavs wiping out or assimilating the Romanized Illyrians, which forms the core of the Croats' origin myth. He diligently examines the available evidence and very convincingly, in my opinion, demonstrates a gradual, bottom-up, 2-century-long process of becoming Slav through cultural habitus, everyday interaction, and regional acculturation in post-Roman Dalmatia, followed by the sudden Croati ex machina, political construction of a Croat identity, adopted by the elites in the 9th century under Carolingian and Byzantine influence. Although the book is an excellent read, it does not relate much to Slavic native faith, other than perhaps helping modern Rodnovers of South Slavic roots better understand their history, ancestry, and culture. For me personally, this book helped me understand the uniqueness of South Slavic culture and paganism compared to the significantly more similar East and West Slavic traditions. The main difference between the South and the rest of Slavdom seems to be the early Christianization of the native population, which occurred before the migrations of Slavs and Avars, followed by the subsequent mixing of all three traditions into one distinct South Slavic culture. Because of this explanatory aspect, I will be adding Becoming Slav, Becoming Croat to my recommended reading list, with the caveat that it will be most useful for modern Rodnovers seeking a more in-depth understanding of South Slavic tradition.